because I went blind for 15 days.
Oh, wow.
Because they had to do two surgeries on my right eye, and then they had to do a laser surgery on both of my eyes. So my right eye had already ripped, and my left eye was ripping. So they had to do a laser surgery on my left eye so that it doesn't actually rip. And then the two surgeries on my right eye so that they can correct it. And during the first surgery, it was the first surgery and the laser surgery at the same time. So both of my eyes were blind for 15 days.
Welcome to the Life is a Healing Journey podcast by yours truly, Anuschka, with a C. This podcast explores how you can create a true healthy lifestyle and live your life to the fullest in the face of any circumstance by healing and balancing your mind, body, spirit. If you are someone that's been dealing with disharmony in any area of your life and you are committed to seeking harmony, this podcast is for you. Let's start healing. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Life is a Healing Journey with our very first guest, Bayan Ghahramani, which actually means expression of a champion. Isn't that amazing? She truly is that.
The fact that you translated it, I'm like, goosebumps.
Yes. And this beautiful woman is an entrepreneur, outlier, a builder of all kinds of unique business ideas, and one that I truly admire, whose life turned upside down and transformed through roller skating. Please introduce yourself, Bayan.
Hi, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Anuschka, for that. Thank you for having me. And I think you covered all the bases. Yes, I am a 33-year-old female Persian, Kurdish, American girl living in Southern California. And yes, I am definitely an entrepreneur. I'm definitely an outlier and definitely a roller skater.
Yes, a passionate roller skater. And by the way, Bayan has been the amazing woman that's been guiding me. And the reason this podcast is even here, because of her, honestly, her wonderful accountability. So I really appreciate you, Bayan.
I'm happy that you're doing these podcasts. I can listen to them.
I love it. So I know that when I was going through everything, I remember seeing a post, because at that time, Bayan and I were actually friends on Facebook. And we had met in the party scene before that. And I recall that she had something that she was going through, a challenge in life, which I would love for her to share. This one incident, this challenge that happened that woke you up from the autopilot life. Can you please share more about that?
Yes, I do remember the same time frame, 2017. I was also going through Facebook and watching what you were going through as I was going through my challenges, which was a retinal detachment on my right eye. It was 90 degrees ripped and 50% detached from my eye. So it was 50% from completely losing my eyesight on my right eye. Do you want me to go into?
Yeah, because what I remember is you were even saying that had not everything aligned the way it did, you could have actually gone blind. So share more about that.
Yeah. So basically, with a retinal detachment, the first thing that happens when it detaches is I lost my eyesight for 1 second, like a split second. And I saw lightning, however, I was driving, so the lightning was in the sky, so it wasn't abnormal like it would have been if I was just sitting in my room looking at the ceiling and saw it. And when you see that lightning, that's when you're supposed to go to the emergency room within the hour or the day. And I had no idea what had happened, so I ended up waiting a whole week to go to the emergency room because after that, after that 1 second, I got my entire eyesight back and there was nothing wrong until every day it was like a curtain that was closing on my right eye and it was going completely black. So when I looked completely to my left, I would not see half of whatever I was supposed to see. It was completely black. It was like, when you turn your phone the other way and like the two sides are black, like that was my actual eyesight. And so it started getting weird. So this happened on Saturday. By next Saturday, so 7 days from that day, I went to the emergency room. And first of all, it was a Saturday, so they were super busy. Second of all, a lot of surgeons were off because they don't work on Saturdays. And third of all, they didn't consider it an emergency because I hadn't gone the same exact day. So they wouldn't open an OR for me. And so Sunday is definitely the day that every surgeon is completely off. And so all of Sunday, I couldn't even reach anyone's like offices to set up some kind of a surgery. And so they had said that basically like every day I'm losing more and more of my eyesight and less of a chance to get it back. And finally, we had like a friend of my uncle who's a doctor, who's an eye surgeon in San Diego, who he personally called like on his home phone. And then he agreed to set up an OR that Monday at 8 a.m. so that I could have this eye surgery. Or else I would probably have a glass eye right now.
Wow. That is amazing. And honestly, it's like magic. I see these things as magical when things align in such a way for you to actually not have a glass eye. Thankfully, you have your beautiful eye here with us.
Thank you.
And I also heard that it sounds like there were some little smaller symptoms before this, right? Like you were noticing certain things that were coming up, but you kind of ignored it. You're like, oh, it's just lightning. Oh, it's whatever.
Yeah, the lightning was the actual rip. Like that's when my eye literally detached.
But you didn't go to the ER at the time.
No, I went home.
Okay.
I went home and I went to sleep.
Yeah,
I kind of ignored it. And I guess that's what I was doing with everything in my life, just kind of ignoring it. I was ignoring the fact that I was super stressed out. I wasn't getting any rest. I was like, I had just opened my insurance agency. And so I was working around the clock. I was ignoring my diet. Now that I look back, I was probably living off of Adderall and not food. Like Adderall would take away my hunger. And then I would go hours on hours without eating, probably drinking coffee instead of water, which I should have done. Like probably like now that I look back, like I had kind of just developed really bad habits, which was giving me bad symptoms like headaches and nausea and stomach aches. And I would just, take an Advil or take like whatever and just kind of brush it off, go to sleep, start again the next day. Like
the autopilot life.
Right? Yeah. Like 4 hours of sleep and then go.
And if that, right?
Yeah.
4 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, so it's like you were having these, these symptoms that are like whispers.
Yeah.
Right. His body is whispering. So the body will always whisper. And then it gets louder and louder until, God forbid, you could have gone blind.
Yeah. Yeah. And there were a lot of whispers when I think back now. At the time, though, I was like, it was like, I don't know, it was like the TV was on and my eyes were just closed.
Yeah, that's deep. What are some other whispers that you can think of?
The headaches. I used to have headaches all the time, which turned into migraines, which turned into nausea and vomiting. Like it was like severe, like headaches.
Sounds like me.
Yeah.
I'm ignoring my headaches too.
Yeah. I was just like, oh, like it's headaches. And I remember growing up, like my aunts on my mom's side, actually on both my parents' side, now that I think about it, would get migraines and they would just say, migraines run in our family. And so I would just be like, oh, okay. Now that I'm turned, I don't know, like 24, 23, I was like, oh, now like, this is it. Like, this is adulting. And so like the headaches was 1, 2 was the nausea and the vomiting, 3 was the stomach aches. I remember afterwards I went to like a homeopath doctor and they did like check-ins with me, and I remember I had like limps that were like super like bloated or something like that, like swollen up.
Oh, wow.
And so he was like, a lot of our like illnesses are actually because like you're swollen, like your body's swollen and you're not doing anything about it. Like you're not eating any turmeric, or like you're not like the things that you could be doing to like heal your body naturally, you're not doing any of that. Um are you, and like I remember like it went all the way down to like, are you even drinking water? Like not even like how many glasses of water. I was like, are you even drinking water every day?
Were you?
No. No, I would probably go like 2 days without drinking water.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
take your sip of water. Yes, please. I know I can't even imagine how I used to always drink water, but I feel like I also drank so much alcohol all the time that it just didn't even think about anything, right? That autopilot and thinking, oh, my body's invincible.
Yeah. I actually, before my retinal detachment, I got a DUI.
Oh, wow. So that is actually another
Yeah, it was
from the universe.
Yeah, it was before, and before I got my DUI, I got 3 tickets. Like one was speeding, one I didn't wait for the pedestrians to fully cross. I think another one was also speeding or like red light or something like that. And it was just like, I was like, are you kidding? I think two tickets in one day was one of them. And then another ticket like 2 days after. And I remember the day that I got the 2 tickets, it was like one of those days where I had overpromised myself to give. Like I was going to I was late going to a seminar that I promised to go to for one of my coaches, while also promised one of my friends that he can come and video it. And I already had like a bunch of other things that I had to do for myself. And I just like pushed back on it because I wanted to make sure like I keep my promise to them. And I remember I was like super frustrated because I was like, God, why did I do this? Like, I don't even want to go to this event. I just want to take a nap. Like, I'm tired from like my insurance agency stuff. And like, as I was frustrated driving there, I got 2 tickets. And then I didn't end up going to the event. My friend didn't end up shooting at the event. I ended up getting 2 tickets and coming right back home and just crying.
Wow. That's literally like mind, body, spirit at its finest right there. Because you're attracting, right? It's not a coincidence something like that is happening.
Yeah.
When you're, one, putting yourself last.
Yes.
Right? And then choosing everyone and everything else instead.
Yes.
Forcing yourself to do something.
Yeah.
Not choosing from intuition.
Yeah.
Doing something that you don't want to be doing.
Yes.
And then universe and spirit is like, hello.
Yeah. And it was like, I remember when I got my DUI, I had all these plans for Saturday, and I got my DUI on like a Friday. And they had told me that I might not be able to get out of jail because you're supposed to get out within 24 hours. However, I had hit a Saturday. So I wasn't going to get out for the weekend, and I was going to get out on Monday. And I ended up getting lucky and getting out within 8 hours of being in there. And just experiencing that jail and everything. And I had like the most difficult punishment for a DUI for the least amount of blood alcohol level that I had. So like, because I had a trainee, I blew a 0.09, and I was at an accident that wasn't even my fault. And it ended up being my fault because they wanted to pin the DUI on me and have him go through his training. And they checked all the boxes that like basically said the judge isn't going to be able to like pass on any of this. Like it was like the hardest punishment possible for a DUI. And I remember like thinking like, this is so unfair. And then after my retinal detachment, I was like, wow, that was literally life letting me know that like you need to pause, like you need to slow down, because I had all these plans on Saturday, which all got canceled. And then life kept going. Like there was nothing that like life just kept like moving along as if like it didn't matter that I didn't get to attend to like the 15 plans I had on Saturday and Sunday. And then I didn't even see that as like a sign. I just hopped right back on my like hamster wheel and I started running as soon as I got out of jail. I showered, I got ready, and like literally that same day I started working, I started going, and I didn't even stop to like reflect on what just happened, or like I did reflect on it later because they forced me into these like weekly sessions, which forced us to reflect on it for like 3 months. However, like for the first like couple of weeks before the session started, I was just like, life's unfair. Life's after me.
Victim mode.
Yeah, I was in complete victim mode. Like, I didn't deserve this. I didn't deserve to be treated like this. The guy in line blew a 2.7. He didn't even get the same punishment as me. I blew a 0.9. How is this even fair? I have a clean record before all this. Like, it was just victim, victim, victim.
Yeah, yeah. All that victim energy.
Yep.
And like you said, like life and just really law of attraction and all that, right? Our bodies, our subconscious mind, all of it, when you look at it together, will continue having experiences over and over. And each one's going to be more difficult, more challenging until we're finding like whether it's rock bottom or something almost that serious has to happen if we don't wake up from the ones before.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like it took all of that to finally get you to see like, okay, I'm about to not be able to see anymore.
Yeah.
And that was it.
And even then, when I went blind, because I went blind for 15 days.
Oh, wow.
Because they had to do 2 surgeries on my right eye. And then they had to do a laser surgery on both of my eyes. So my right eye had already ripped and my left eye was ripping. So, so they had to like do a laser surgery on my left eye so that it doesn't actually rip. And then the 2 surgeries on my right eye so that they can correct it. And it was the first surgery and the laser surgery at the same time. So both of my eyes were blind for 15 days. And
forcing you to go internal.
And at that time, I remember like the first thought I had was, this is ridiculous, because how am I supposed to sell insurance if I won't be able to look at a computer screen? Like immediately thinking like, this is crazy, because I remember like when I got my DUI, my first thought was, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to drive to and from the office. Like it wasn't like, it was always like, I feel like life was like, hey, you need to stop. Like you need to slow down and you need to like relax. Like you need to stop chasing after money. Like, I don't know what was like, what life was like really like making me stop for. I guess I should look back on that too. I just know like life was like, hey, like slow down, stop. And then it was like, like, like a screeching car. And I was like, okay, you're not going to stop. I'm going to stop you. And then I was just like, I was basically like bedridden for like 3 months. I couldn't go to work. I couldn't look at a computer screen or anything for 15 days. And it wasn't until like day 405 of me being blind where I was like, oh shit, like, what if I were to go completely blind and never see again? Like, I don't think computer screen would be on my first top 100 list. Like, I feel like there's going to be so much more that I'm going to miss seeing, like my parents' faces, like smiling at me, or the sunrise and the sunset, or like the beach when I'm skating, or like I started thinking about what I would actually really like truly miss versus like the typical like autopilot thinking of like, oh, my computer screen so I could write more insurance policies.
Yeah, it's like that's the most important thing in life.
I think it took like that for me to realize like life will keep going even if I'm not able to work.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, no one's going to die. You're not going to die. Right. And you could go blind unless you really take on healing and balancing your mind, body, spirit, which is what all of this, what I'm seeing at least,
Yeah.
is all of this was trying to get you to do that. Say, okay, like you said, slow down. Where's Bayan?
Yeah.
Where's Bayan? This is like robot mode.
Yeah.
So how was your mindset? Like, I mean, from what I'm hearing, it was very much money driven, like go mode, like robotic,
Yeah.
right? So how do you see, have you like noticed that your mindset has shifted since then?
Yeah. I mean, I think the first shift was, like I said, on the first 5 days where I went from like, I'm going to miss seeing my computer screen. How am I going to make money? Like, I'm not going to be this rich girl that I thought I was going to be. Like, it was like all these things that I felt like I was giving up because of my eyesight to like, no, like, okay, what in life really actually matters to me? Like, I started thinking more about like happiness and fulfillment and
Putting yourself first.
yeah, putting myself and my relationships before money. Like I think that was like another thing is like I was putting my relationships completely last. Like if, if a job opportunity came up, I would cancel any plans with anyone to take care of business. I remember I would go and spend time with my friends, and in the middle of it, an insurance call would come in and I would take it. Like I would step outside and disconnect from the gathering and go sell an insurance policy. Like it was all about like I was in survival mode almost.
Yeah.
Not realizing that like if I wanted to be on survival mode, I can live that for the rest of my life and never achieve whatever I assume, whatever I didn't even realize what I wanted to achieve. Like there was no identifying factor of where this was going to take me. And then I think my mindset shifted to, okay, first of all, like, what do I want? Who do I want to be every day? Like, after that, I started paying attention to what I eat, what I drink, like, what I fill my mind with, like, as far as like making my relationships important to me and making it important for me to get into the correct relationships. Because another thing that really happened during that time is I lost like 90% of my friends.
Oh, wow. Well, that happens though. I get that.
Yeah.
You see who's actually there.
Yeah. My circle of friends
right?
shifted immediately within the first surgery.
And then new friends come about too.
Yes. And then like new friendships and like more connection with my new friendships, like deeper connections. They're not on surface level and they're intentional. Like they're not like that's a huge mindset shift because for me, it was about having a lot of friends versus having quality friends. And now it's about having quality friends versus having a lot of friends. And it's interesting because back then I didn't have 50,000 followers on social media. Like I wasn't like I didn't have the opportunity to have that many like people in my life. And I feel like I would have messed up somewhere even bigger if I did because I didn't understand that these are not my friends. These are my followers. This is a different type of relationship. And like I would throw the word best friend out like it was candy. Like I was like people came to trick or treat and I was handing like, you're my best friend. You're my best friend. You get a car. Like, and so like now it's like, okay, like I'm more intentional with my words. So that's a mindset shift that I've had. I'm more intentional with my relationships and my friends. I'm more intentional about like my time, like how I'm spending it on me, how I'm spending it with my family, how I'm spending it with my friends, where I'm spending more of it. And like I put in my passion planner, like at the end of the day, like I look and I'm like, okay, if I were to die in my sleep tonight, would I die fulfilled about today? And if I have 2 or 3 days in a row where no, I wasn't fulfilled, all I did is work, Like I didn't do anything for me. I didn't spend any time for me. I didn't spend time for my happiness. Like I would have been like, I wasted those 3 days and then died. Like then I need to shift something in my life for like the next 3 days. Maybe I'll cancel a Zoom call to go roller skate or like something like that. Like I'm more intentional about things like that because you never know. You never know.
You never know.
You never know.
That's a huge thing when we wake up from the autopilot.
Yeah.
So share about roller skating and how that actually transformed a lot of the mind, body, spirit for you as well.
So like roller skating started in 2016 and the retinal detachment happened in 2017. I remember like I had just learned how to go backwards on my roller skates. Like I started roller skating to release anxiety. So to even like further talk about the symptoms or the whispers, one of the bigger whispers was in 2016, I was dealing with a huge anxiety, like I don't even know what to call it. Like this anxiety thing was getting me for like 15 days. Wow, now I just realized 15 days and 15 days. That literally just clicked in my head. For 15 days, I didn't eat because I didn't have an appetite to eat. And if I did eat, I would vomit like immediately. If I drank water, I vomit immediately. So I thought something was physically wrong with me. And I kept going to the emergency room. I went to the emergency room 3 times, which on the 3rd time, they brought the psychiatrics down. And they were like, all right, you need to speak to her because she keeps coming back and there's nothing wrong with her. We've taken her vitals, we've taken x-rays and everything. And there's nothing wrong with her. It's just anxiety. And so that was a whisper.
That was a scream.
That was a scream. Yeah. That was like
your body started screaming at you.
Yeah, it was screaming at me and I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea. The one thing that I did after that was I started eating better. Because I started exercising more. Okay. So roller skating came about because on my 3rd visit to the ER, I remember the psychiatric lady came down and she spent less than 10 minutes with me. She never made eye contact with me. She was looking at her notes the whole time and just asking questions and typing it in the computer. And like a robot. She asked me like 10 questions. And then at the very end, she was like, okay, no problem. We're going to go ahead and prescribe you some Xanax. It's going to help you sleep better. So when you get your good night rest, then you're going to wake up in the morning and you're probably going to be very hungry. So you're going to eat a good breakfast and then your appetite will be back and, living life normal again. In the same tone that I just said it, like literally like, okay, bye. And then she like didn't even give me a second to like ask her a question or like tell her that I understand or don't understand. She said her sentence, grabbed her computer, and she said, all right, good luck. We're going to go ahead and discharge you now. And she walked out. And I was just like speechless.
And somewhat not surprised.
Yeah, I was in shock, actually. I didn't realize that it was going to be like that. And I was torn between like, did I really need it that badly? Because I know that people use Xanax and they like go to the doctors and ask for it and do all this stuff and they don't get it. Like doctors don't hand it out freely. Like, do I really need Xanax that she just gave it to me so freely, so openly without me even asking for it? Or was she just like a careless human being that doesn't care about anything other than just showing up, clocking in and clocking out and like going by bullet point. And so I was just kind of like torn. I went home, I was crying, and my aunt came over and she was like, okay, she was like, you don't need to take it. And like I said, my family dealt with sleeping problems, dealt with these things. So I knew from just watching my aunts asking my mom in Iran, they were like, these sleeping pills don't work anymore. Can you send something stronger? I remember that from my childhood. Wow. And I remember those phone calls like what my mom would have because they would always be on speaker. And when she told me that I have to take Xanax, all I thought about was, I'm going to have to take this pill lifetime and I don't want to. I didn't think of it as temporary or anything like that. I thought of it as lifetime. And she even said, we're going to start you with the smaller dosage. Once your body gets used to it, we're going to up the dosage. So what's going to happen when my body gets used to the higher dosage and the higher dosage? And that was like what brought so much fear. And I just started crying, and I was at home just crying, and my aunt came over and she was like, okay, so, and she's a pharmacist. So she like looked up the pills, and she's like, you know what? She like ripped it up in front of me. She's like, you don't need to take this. She's like, if you need this, we can prescribe it to you again. But first, why don't you do my method? And I guess she had dealt with anxiety on her end. And so she was able to kind of feel what I was experiencing. And she was like, okay, you're going to start exercising. She's like, and I told her my symptoms. My symptoms were, I wake up at 5 a.m. on the dot and I'm nauseous. I go to the bathroom and I'm not throwing up or anything. So it's this battle of nausea and nothing happening, like a hangover that like where you don't actually throw up, like it's just sitting in your
a lot of acid just building up.
Yeah. And then it wasn't coming out, so it wasn't giving me the relief, and and I was so uncomfortable that I didn't want to move from the bed. So it was a back and forth battle between the bed and the bathroom. And then it would slightly start to go away around 11 a.m. And then the battle of the mind would start, where I just missed out on my entire day. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. Offices start closing at 5. Everyone's going to go to lunch now. Like, I won't be able to make this call and make that call. I was just like beating myself up for missing out on my day and not waking up early in the morning. And then, like sluggishly moving around slowly all day to sunset at 5, and then it's dark again, it's nighttime again, and I'm awake because I slept so late and I rested all day, and then now I can't sleep, so I'm just going to sit here and scroll on my Instagram until 2 a.m. and then finally fall asleep to wake up at 5 a.m. and start doing it. And I did that for 15 days.
It's such a vicious cycle.
It was terrible. And so my aunt was like, okay, when I told her this, she was like, okay, so what we're going to do is you're going to shower and get ready at night, and you're going to get out of bed and get out of the house at 5 a.m. when you feel nauseous. She's like, you can throw up outside. I don't care. I was living with her at her house.
Oh, okay.
And she's like, you can throw up outside. You can throw up in the trees. I don't care. And she was like, just go outside, because she knew I wasn't going to. And so she's like, and I don't want you to come back inside until the feeling of nausea is gone. And so I decided I was going to roller skate, because her daughter had bought me roller skates. And as we were talking and she was telling me, she's like, go bike, go run, go walk, go do some kind of exercise. And as she was talking to me, I was looking at the roller skate. And so I was like, okay, I'll go roller skate at the beach. And she was like, okay, if you're going to drive somewhere, then make sure you also set up a playlist and you pay attention to how every song on the playlist makes you happy. It doesn't make you sad. It doesn't make you miserable. It makes you happy and like super dancey. And I remember like EDM would make me really anxious, because I just moved back from Vegas and I was like in nightlife. And so I had to reset my playlist after that talk. And I started listening to like Haide and Mahasti and Gugush and all the Persian like classics that my mom used to sing around the house when she was washing the dishes. And I noticed that was bringing me peace, and like it was like calming me down, and I was like in a dancey mood. And then I would get to the beach at 5:30 in the morning, and I would roller skate. And at the time I sucked at roller skating, so just focusing on not falling and holding my balance completely took my mind off of whatever anxiety was bringing anxiety.
You gotta be present.
I was present.
Yep.
And so the feeling was gone within 30 minutes of every skate session. And I was like, oh, I'm hungry now. Okay, let me go eat. And then like it became my habit. And so that's the longest version of my story. I
love that. I haven't actually heard this long version. Really? No, I love it. That's really awesome. Because it's really, I mean, I love that your aunt really guided you in such a wonderful way too, because not only is nature, right? It's like our spirit thrives in nature. It's like so high vibing when we go, especially at the beach.
Yeah.
And then you're taking on exercising, which is amazing for the body.
Yeah.
Getting extra oxygen in there. And then now you have to be focused.
Yeah.
You have to be present. Because a lot of times when we have anxiety, it's because we're constantly anxious about
The future.
So now it's like, nope, there's no future here. You're not thinking about it. And then you create this beautiful habit.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
And you continue doing it. I love watching all your videos.
Yeah, it's my fallback. Like, not my fallback, it's my maintenance, actually. It's like my meditation, my maintenance. Like, I know for a fact that, like, people that are closest to me, when they see me be snappy and, like, frustrated, I know, like, the first question they ask is, have you skated today?
So I tell Ashton, I'm like, have you gone biking today? For me, it's volleyball. I'm like, I need to go play volleyball.
Yeah, everyone has that one thing. Yeah,
one thing. I mean, dancing, I think, is another one of mine. It's just, I mean, I'd love to dance, but I don't know. I prefer going somewhere and dancing to really loud music. You get to do it on your skates, which is awesome.
Yeah.
So what other wins do you feel like you've experienced since this awakening, I should say, and rebirth, really?
I guess the intuition, like having intuition, like you've taught me that for sure. Like the universe has taught me that in a different way, like, and like knowing, like, and identifying the problem. Like it's been a lot of like identifying the problem, identifying what makes me happy, identifying what I want, like making a lot of like identifications of like, and like paying attention. I would say those are probably my biggest wins from this, is like, once I realized, okay, this is what makes me happy. This is what makes me anxious. Like, this is what my body thrives on. This is what, like, right now I'm learning even more about like what foods not to eat for me. Like, and then like also just like knowing that these shifts are always happening. Just because skating saved my life in 2016 in one way, I know in 2019 I had like another like breakdown moment, like a lot of like things happen in a row that really like put me down and pushed me down. And I wanted to revert back to skating the same way, and it wasn't the same exact medicine that was going to help me. It was like in a new, unique way that helped me. I guess like
that's life as a healing journey.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Like the journey, like it's not like, okay, I finished this book, so now I know the answers. It's like, no, like I've gained this wisdom and I can use this wisdom to navigate through the next battle and the next battle and the next battle.
Next evolution.
Yeah, next evolution. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's like we're always elevating, we're always healing and peeling those onion layers, right?
Yeah.
So it sounds to me that you have embraced life as a healing journey.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's really, that's like the whole purpose and intention of this podcast, is sharing stories like yours. And then also like what gifts came out of this, right? So you said intuition.
Yeah.
Right? Like awareness. So much of, and awareness is like, that's the whole higher consciousness, right? The more conscious we are, the more aware we are, then we don't have to live in the matrix world on autopilot.
Yeah.
Yes. Anything else you'd like to share, Bayan?
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your amazing story and where you're at now. And by the way, if you don't know, she has this amazing taco tadig food truck that is just to die for and delicious. So you got to find her on Instagram and see where she's posted up.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, everybody. Till next time, where our next episode actually will be back to the mind again.
Thank you for listening to Life is a Healing Journey podcast. You are here to peel and heal one layer at a time, to live your life to the fullest in the face of any circumstance, while embracing a life filled with love, joy, and peace. If you are in disharmony in any area of your life and truly desire to be in harmony and committed to elevating your health and well-being, I'm one click away. Find me at healingwithanuschka.com. And remember, that's Anuschka with a C. And if you like what you heard, please subscribe and share this podcast with your loved ones. Get your healing on. Until next time.